Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to the Everything College Football Podcast. Dave and Nick here with our 2022 preview and prediction for the Virginia Cavaliers. Interesting offseason, Nick. They finally made a change. Rocco Mendenhall is out, replaced by Tony Elliott. It's been the last decade at Clemson, the 2017 Girls Award winner. Obviously, this past year was not the best year for him and his offense at Clemson, but the entire body of work stood out for the Cavaliers, and that's why they brought him in. Jess Kitchings, he's been on a variety of stops the last few years, CFB and NFL. Most recently, the running back coach for the Atlanta Falcons. He's going to take over the offensive coordinator duties. John Rudzinski, he spent over a decade himself at Air Force. He's going to come in as the defensive coordinator. The biggest question is, was Tony Elliott the best hire? Because Marco Mendenhall was a defensive-minded head coach, and he couldn't consistently get the defense in the right direction. They could not consistently perform at a high level as a team. Strong individual performances from a lot of guys over the years, but as a team, they really struggled, especially this past season. So is Tony Elliott the right fit?
Right, so I think Tony Elliott was a good hire, but I don't think he was the right hire, if that makes a lot of sense. I do like the hire, but I think they had better options they could have gone with. I like his offensive schemes. I like what he can do with a good quarterback. With the quarterback he has here in Brennan Armstrong, who we'll touch on in a minute, I think he's a super talented quarterback, at least for this season for Elliott to have and kind of develop around. I like his potential to recruit offensively. Arch Manning visited Charlottesville after Elliott took the job. I think those two are definitely related. Of course, Arch ended up committing to Texas, but it is interesting to see him just visit a school like Virginia, not something you really see every day from a top recruit like Arch Manning. I like the future here with Tony Elliott. I think he's a good move. I do think the defense will continue to not be strong for the Cavaliers. This will be an offense-driven team for the next couple of seasons, but maybe Rudzinski can build something and develop something, considering Air Force had some decent defenses over the years.
Offensively, long-term, certainly a question mark, but really good unit here in the short term. Looking back 4 starters, but all of them are very important. Headlined by Brennan Armstrong at the helm here. Showcased in 2020 how good of a runner he was, good speed, nice elusiveness. Made waves that was on him last year. Very interesting to see him put up 4,449 yards to shatter the school record. Also had 7 of the top 10 single game yardage totals. That's a lot of school records here, Nick. 31 touchdowns, that was another one. He also had 10 picks, which wasn't great, but he showcased strong arm, good accuracy, nice command of this offense. This is a nice dual threat guy. He's really rising up the draft boards here. I think this is another big time season. Very interested to see how he develops here under Tony Elliott, in their first year together. First and only year, rather.
I think Brennan Armstrong can easily work his way into the first round in the NFL draft next season. He is such a talented quarterback. I love that arm threat, but I also love the fact that he can run. He's a true dual threat quarterback. We didn't see it a whole lot last year. He did have 9 touchdowns on the ground and 251 yards rushing. Definitely had more in 2020, but I love how he kind of polished his passing last year. We know about the dual throw. We know he can do with his legs. 4,449 yards to the air is just a ridiculous number to look at on paper. It really jumps out at you. 65.2% completion percentage, 31 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's good with the ball. He's smart with the ball. Doesn't turn over a whole lot. Has good pocket presence, and that arm is just ridiculous. The talent is certainly there with Brennan Armstrong. I think this year he'll take a huge step forward. I don't think he'll shatter the record again this year, because that record's going to be hard to touch, 44-9 again. It's going to be a tough record for him to re-break, but I think he'll have another strong year of at least 4,000 yards and will continue to climb up draft boards.
Virginia was trailing a lot last year, and that allowed him to put up this absurd production. But he does get back his top 3 pass catchers, Dontavian Wicks, 1,200 plus yards. That's a school record on 57 receptions. Also had 9 touchdowns. Keaton Thompson, I absolutely love this guy. He was so good as a running quarterback for Mississippi State in the Tax Slayer Bowl many years ago. I was at that game. Outdueled Lamar Jackson that day. Never really found his footing at quarterback, though. Converts to an all-purpose guy. He's labeled on the depth chart as an FBP. That's a football player. He can do a little bit of everything. That's why they call him that. Caught 77 passes for 173 yards last year. Ran for 247, 4 more scores. 6'4", 210, runs with a 40. Quite built-out frame. Interesting size, though, for a pass catcher. There's still new to the position, so there's a lot to learn. His route tree really is going to develop this fall, I think, because that's really one of the big weaknesses in his game. Because, he's so new to this position. But they get him involved in a variety of different ways, and of course, the threat throwing the ball. He didn't do it much last year. That's certainly, the defense has that presence in mind. I really like Keaton Thompson. Billy Kemp, another guy, they spread it out. So he had 75 receptions for 742 yards, 6 scores himself. And I really like Lavelle Davis. He got hurt last year, so he didn't play. But in 2020, averaged 25 yards per catch, 20 receptions for 515 yards and 5 scores. 6'7", 210. That is outstanding size. Has the speed to win deep and long strides. The height and length allowed to win contested catches. I really like Lavelle Davis, and overall, this is a very solid receiving core. One of the nation's best.
This is a great receiving core. A lot of people are not giving this core the attention this receiving core deserves. 1,200 yards for Dontavian Wicks, 21.1 yards per catch, 9 touchdowns. Ridiculous number from Wicks. Expecting to have similar production again this year. Thompson, I love how he's such an athlete, all-purpose player. a football player, right? He's a through and through football player. He can do whatever you want. You want to put him anywhere on the offense, he's going to be able to produce for you. I'd love to see that in the player. Nearly 1,000 yards last year receiving. I think he can get close to that again this year with Armstrong slinging him the ball.
Running game, Mike Collins, Cody Brown, Miami transfer. Those guys are going to take over the backfield. Not much on these guys. Running game has been quite efficient the last few years. Not too spectacular. It's not really the nature of the offense, though. Good group of weapons, I think, for Armstrong to work with, but the biggest problem is to lose all 5 starters on the O-line. I see 4 freshmen slotted into the starting lineup on my depth chart. They were 110th in sacks a season ago. So maybe losing 5 starters is good, but I don't think it is. You got all this youth in this conference. Clemson, they were never exactly good on the O-line during Elliott's tenure. They made the offense thrive still, so I feel he has some wrinkles to get the stress off these guys, at least early on in the season. Trying to build on some stuff as these guys gain experience, but offensive line is very concerning with you.
Right, this is the one thing, the offense that worries me. The offensive line, I see redshirt freshman, redshirt freshman, redshirt freshman, redshirt sophomore, redshirt junior. These guys don't have a whole lot of experience, and the depth isn't there. The depth chart's looking pretty empty, and I don't know if there's anyone that can really fill these holes. I look at the left side especially. Logan Taylor, I don't know if he's going to have the type of productive year that he could have. Derek Devine as well. I think he's a little bit struggling at left guard. So I get a little concerned with the offensive line here. They have to check their quarterback if they want to see a similar production out of him this year.
Now we got the defense. They get 5 starters back on a unit that, of course, struggled last year. They've had some experience on the D line. They also had 4 transfers, so there's obviously commitment to restructure things there. Cam Butler from Miami, Ohio, he had 13 tackles for loss, 8 sacks last year. Good addition there. Some promise here on the D line, but big promise they were 123rd against the run last year. 5.8 yards per carry. Early on in the year, UNC had nearly 400 on the ground. And then late in the season, they got absolutely clobbered. 250 plus rushing allowed in 4 of the last 5 games. They were never good at any point during the season, Nick, against the run. They lose a number of contributors at linebacker as well, but Nick Jackson's back, 117 tackles. That's obviously very encouraging. Hunter Stewart, 37 stops as a rotational help last year. Pierce Hill converted from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. Nothing too spectacular outside of Jackson and Butler in this front 7. Got to be the focal point.
Yeah, this front 7's looking a little weak. I like Nick Jackson, 117 tackles last year. Solid numbers for him at linebacker. 6 tackles for loss, 2.5 sacks, plus 2 pass breaks. Cam Butler coming from Miami, Ohio, solid player. Had a good year last year. I think he's a good pickup out of the portal. It's clear that they're trying to work on some things, help out this defensive line that could use some help. The run defense was really poor last year. I think it will certainly improve this year because it's hard to be worse than it was last year, but it's definitely an area of concern for me.
Now looking at the secondary, 88 against the pass, only 8 interceptions allowed. Compared to 26 touchdowns allowed, rather 59.6% point completion rate. Solid number, but overall is a great group. Joey Blunt has been lost. They gave back a couple of veterans though. Anthony Johnson, 44 tackles, 6 pass breakups, 3 picks. Antonio Cleary, Cohen King. Those are some guys that are promising for this unit. They're going to want to get better play out of them. I think better scheming, communication here in the short term could certainly benefit them. But the talent needs to be up. They've had some strong DBs over the years, but again, great individual play from certain guys at every position, but collectively as a unit, especially in the secondary, it's not been so fantastic.
King and Clary both had over 40 tackles each last year. I would like to see some more production out of them, especially, King had 3 pass breakups. Hopefully he can step up a little bit. Clary, he didn't really have that many pass breakups as well last year. I do think the secondary has some good leadership, has some good experience, but I'd like to see it improve for sure.
Looking at the schedule, preview, and prediction, I think this is going to be a really great year for this offense. Interesting non-conference. They got close to Carolina late in the year. Illinois, September 10th. I have them winning that game. That's a tough running back duo. Chase Brown, Josh McRae. Those guys can light up a storm on this defense. They were terrible against the run last year. I think they'll win the game, but I can easily see them losing that one. They'll definitely lose at Syracuse. Sean Tucker, Garrett Schrader. Those guys will definitely have the edge that day. The Carrier Dome. Louisville, it's a tough matchup for this defense. Same with Miami and UNC, so this is a very interesting schedule. I have them beating Pitt November 12th. I think they'll catch them off guard that day. It's my only loss projection of the year for Pittsburgh. I just think that's a really good opportunity to catch them off guard. Beat up on a secondary that's pretty poor last year. Of course, early November, you have to figure it out. But at this moment in time, I think that the personnel advantage goes to the Virginia passing attack, so I think they'll win that game. 7-5 for me. I think the ceiling's 8 or 9 wins because they can really outscore everybody on the schedule. But at the same time, the defense doesn't really have a pulse, so they could also end up with 4 or 5 wins.
Right, I really get concerned with this defense. I think they'll find themselves in the hole again a lot this year like they were last year. Brennan Armstrong's going to have to use his talent to kind of bail this team out. I like them to put up a ton of points this year. I think they're going to light up the scoreboard, but I worry they'll find themselves in a lot of shootout with some of the more talented offenses such as Pitt, UNC, Virginia Tech. These are some teams that could really keep pace with them. I think this is a fair schedule. This team should be in a bowl game easily. I think Tony Elliott will lead them to a bowl. If you ask Cavalier fans, would you take 7-5 the first year? I think most of them would, but they'd like to see improvement quickly over time, considering that was a bit mediocre under Bronco Mendenhall, so they'd have to turn the corner rather quickly. This is a solid roster with a great offense that I think should easily get them bowl eligible.
The Coastal Carolina game very interesting to face. Armstrong against Grayson McCall. Very great QB battle there. It should be a fun game late in the year. That's going to be it for today's episode, guys. Nick, as always, thank you for joining me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. See you next time.